team is presenting cost, volume, profit and break-even point. Starting with an introduction. CVP equations look at and are used to analyse the relationships between business volume, costs and profits. Therefore, CVP may be applied to products or services to compare their variable and fixed costs to their operating income and overall profitability. Break-even point looks at the sales volume required to achieve a profit goal. CVP is used to work out the sales dollars and volume required to achieve desired profit or break-even based on your known costs, the amount of additional business volume required to cover the additional fixed costs or variable costs, and the maximum costs acceptable given the price and desired profits. Limitations of CVP and the break-even point equations analysis. The calculations look at pricing strictly from a cost perspective and do not take into consideration the customer's perceived value of the product or service. Therefore, CVP should not be used to get a final selling point, but to calculate a pricing goal or minimum required selling price.
The introduction about the calculation parts. So first of all, I will talk about the basic accounting relationship, kind of like bring you back about the basic formula, like how you can do for the CVP formula. And then second, I will talk about the CVP formula like more detail, which is based on the cost and the volume and profit. And finally, we'll talk about the break-even point formula. So we all learned before about how to calculate like revenue minus variable cost will equal to the contribution margin, and based on this formula you can split into more like complicated way to calculate, like it would equal to like eventually will equal to 1 minus variable cost percentage will equal to the CM percentage, and then it would be another one will be also be the same thing, like CM minus FC will equal to your operating income, and so as the other one. So for the break-even point, like it basically would just say like your operating income equal to 0. So at this point, your contribution margin will equal to your fixed cost. And for CVP formula, basically there's have different version of CVP equation. First is like it requires in the revenue. So for that one, like you can use the formula like CM divided by the 1 minus variable cost percentage, and the rest of 2 also would be equal as the previous one. Depends on the questions, like what they give you. If they give you they already give you the variable cost percentage, then you can use the first one. If they didn't give you, then you need to calculate your contribution percentage first and to get the answer. And the second one is based on the required in the units. So at this one is for this situation, it would be easier for like people to find the occupation rate when the variable cost percentage is unknown. And the last one would be the break-even point formula. Like this formula is really simple. You just need to use your fixed cost divided by the total sale revenue and minus your cost of the products, which basically is equal to your contribution margin. And then as you can see in the picture, so why the break-even point is so important to the business to take care of is because it will show you like about your loss and the profit. Everything beyond the break-even point would be your a profit. Everything below the break-even point would be the loss of your industry.
Know a little about what these formulas are used for and what the formulas are. We're going to take a look at how you can actually use them in a problem. So in this case, we have XYZ Restaurant, which is serving a pepperoni pizza for $10 with the following variable cost per pizza. The flour is 50 cents, yeast is 5 cents, water is 1 cent, and cheese is $3. Pepperoni is $2 for a total of $5.56. In addition, XYZ Restaurant has the following fixed monthly costs. Labor is $1,500, rent is $3,000, insurance is $200, and advertising is $500. Utilities are $450 for a total of $5,650. Now we're going to use these numbers to determine the break-even point in dollars and units for this restaurant. So here's how we do that. We first need to determine the contribution margin per pizza. To do this, we're just going to subtract the cost from the selling price. So our selling price was $10, our cost was $5.56, which gives us a contribution margin of $4.44. In other words, each pizza is contributing $4.44 towards the fixed costs and profit for the restaurant. Now we simply need to know how many pizzas we need to sell to exactly cover the fixed costs of XYZ Restaurant. In other words, the break-even point. To do this, we first divide the total fixed costs by the contribution margin per pizza. So our total fixed costs were $5,650. We're going to divide that by the $4.44 we came up with for our contribution margin, and that'll give us $1,272.52, which means we need to sell 1,273 pizzas to break even. Now we simply multiply this number by the selling price of the pizza to find the break even in dollars, and we get 1,273 pizzas times $10 per pizza is $12,730 for our break-even point in dollars.
Okay, so as with any business, XYZ Restaurant does not simply want to break even, they want to make a profit. XYZ Restaurant would like to make a profit of $50,000. Using your calculations from the break-even point knowledge of CVP, determine how many pizzas XYZ needs to sell to make this. So just a reminder from the last problem, the fixed costs were $5,650 and the contribution margin was $4.44. So let's see how to solve this. To determine the number of pizzas XYZ needs to sell to achieve a profit of $50,000, we simply need to add this to our fixed costs and follow the same process. So we're going to do $5,650 plus $50,000 divided by $4.44 to get $12,533.78. So we need to sell 12,534 pizzas to achieve the desired profit of $50,000, and again, to convert this to dollars, we simply need to multiply the number of pizzas by the sales price. So here we're going to do 12,534 times 10 to get 125,340.
To summarize, CVP analyzes the relationship between cost, volume, and profit. CVP should only be used to calculate the goal or the minimum price point to be used on a product or service. It should not be used to calculate your final price. CVP formula is the desired sales equal to fixed cost plus the desired profit over the contribution margin. Now the contribution margin will be either a number or percentage. For a number, you would want it to be for your units, but for the percentage of the contribution margin you want to use to calculate dollars. For your break-even formula, it's nearly similar. It's just fixed costs over contribution margin rather than having your desired profit in there. There are two case studies for examples on the break-even and CVP formulas above if you would like to practice. Here are a couple of the main things you would want to take away from this presentation. The CVP and break-even formulas should not be used to calculate your final product or service price. They should be used to calculate the goal or the minimum price. CVP is equal to fixed cost plus desired income over your contribution margin, whether it's in units or percentage. Your break-even will be your fixed costs over your contribution margin, whether it is, again, numbers or percentage. There's their citation. Okay. Thank you for enjoying our lovely presentation. We hope you will find it helpful in your future calculations.